Hi everyone, just before we get into another episode of What a Load of Bulls, we just want to give a shout out to our partners, Newcastle Car and Truck Rental. Newcastle Car and Truck Rental are a locally owned company servicing Newcastle and the Hunter. Todd Holden and family pride themselves on being part of the local community, and you feel that when you step through their doors. It isn't a different person every time you call, it's the same people taking care of business and taking care of you. So next time you're in need of a rental, be it a truck to move, a ute for those everyday DIY jobs, or a car to get the family around on a day out, be sure to contact the team at Newcastle Car and Truck Rental by visiting www.newcastlerental.com or by calling 02 49 081 081. And don't forget to tell them DJ and Simon sent you. Welcome back to What a Load of Bulls, episode 78. I'm DJ, and joining me for another week of Bulls banter and the occasional decent opinion is my good mate Simon Little. Simon, welcome back, and let's roll, mate.
Let's roll. That decent opinion is definitely my side of the fence, and questionable if that is your voice. Decent opinion, but anyway, let's roll.
Sorry, mate, I tuned out while you were talking there. What you say?
Of course you do. Yeah, as you always do. Yeah, well done. Well done. First up, before we get into it, a massive thank you to everyone who has took part in my little Bulls Academy survey. Big shout out to everyone who's spent the time, 10, 15 minutes out of their day to fill in the survey and help the future really of the Bulls Academy and what direction we're going with certain content and things we're going to come out with next. So massive thank you. Keep an eye out for those emails to see who the winner is going to be of a free remote delivery analysis session. So yeah, that was up for grabs for those that took part in the survey. But yeah, massive thanks to all those who took the time, and look forward to some new content and what's coming out in the future of the Bulls Academy.
Very good, mate. Mate, I got to be honest, when you said massive thank you there, I started thinking, what have I done now? But no, absolutely good. Good to see that buy-in from the listeners, and the people who are actually reading the emails. That's great to see, because it all helps us. What we're here for, the Bulls Academy. This is all a bit of fun on the side, but it is promoting the Bulls Academy, which helps promote the game. So that's what we're all here for. And speaking about promoting the game, we have some of the elite athletes coming back, mate, to give back to the game by sitting down with me and having a bit of a chat leading into the Commonwealth Games. So, mate, who have you got lined up for us this week in the editing room?
So out of all the interviews you've done so far, this episode, we've got the one and only Kelsey Cottrell, and we've got Teri and Selina from New Zealand. So yeah, some big names there, both across either side of the ditch. Let's see what sort of insights and what their lead up to this sort of time of the year and lead up to the games has been looking like. And yeah, some really good insight into what the elite athletes go through.
Absolutely, mate. Hit that play button and let's have a listen.
Is your club looking for fresh coaching ideas or structured practice sessions? The Bulls Academy offers practical drills, coaching resources, and development tools that clubs can use and help players improve and enjoy their bowls more. From social bowlers to competitive players, there's something for everyone. Find out more at thebullsacademy.com.
Continuing on, folks, with our Commonwealth Games interviews, and we've got the one and only Kelsey Cottrell with us. Kelsey, thank you for giving up your time to have a chat.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No, not a problem, mate. It's our pleasure. Trust me, it's our pleasure. Mate, getting ready for Glasgow. It's your fourth Games, debuted back in Delhi all the way back in 2010. You took 2022 off for the birth of your second daughter, wasn't it?
Yes. And COVID as well was just not playing friendly with the travel arrangements of having a little bub. So yes, missed the last one. I'm very happy to be back for this one.
Yeah, nice. Well, it's good to be back. And it's a credit to your longevity as well to be selected for that, mate. And also with the Commonwealth Games, you got a full house of medals. You got the bronze, the silver, and the gold. From starting in Delhi on to Glasgow the last time out, and then 2018, you got the gold on the Gold Coast. That must have been an unbelievable feeling, mate, standing on top of the podium at a home games.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, having been so close. So winning bronze in Delhi, I actually only lost one game that whole event. And I played Lena from Malaysia in the bronze medal match. And at the time, she was the two-time Commonwealth Games gold medalist. So it was pretty cool. I look back on that now and feel like, wow, that's actually a great achievement that at my first games, I managed to walk away with one loss, a bronze medal, and I knocked off the 2-time, Commonwealth Games champ. But yeah, and then headed off to Glasgow 4 years later and enjoyed the challenge of the slow greens in Glasgow. A bit of fun, great little spot. And yeah, and then Gold Coast was just perfect, just to have all my family and friends there in the grandstands and to do it with my really good mates as well. Yeah, we still talk about it, look back on the photos and memories of Gold Coast.
Yeah, awesome. So moving on to this one then, like we nearly lost this one effectively. We nearly didn't have this games, and here we are in the shortened format, which we'll get into a bit later. But does this games, getting ready for this, does this have any different feel for you to the previous ones, or is it still just business as usual?
Look, I think I feel like I'm appreciating this one a bit more than I probably have in the past.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I probably did really appreciate my first one. It was all exciting being the first games and, oh my gosh, going to India, who would have thought as a 12-year-old taking up bowls that I'd play bowls in India. So that was very exciting. But I think I've probably felt confident without being cocky. I think that's one thing that I've managed to not do over my years is, get a bit ahead of myself. But I've always felt confident in my ability and the way that I've trialed for certain big events to make it. And then when this one rolls around and you find out only 3 girls are going to get picked, it's like a bit of a kick up the butt. It's like, right, this is game time. Like this is going to be a mission just to get in this team. So I feel really like I've accomplished something already. But obviously very excited that bowls is in the Commonwealth Games and just excited about the exposure we might get as well. I think that's really exciting. Individually, we all want to do well and win medals, but I think it's a pretty cool opportunity to represent the sport and just hopefully get some great coverage. I've already heard little whispers that there's going to be 4 rinks and they're all going to be televised in some way, which is awesome for all the viewers back home.
Yeah, absolutely. So you spoke about it there. So it was a bit of a kick up the bum. Preparation had to get started to try and make this team. So how far back did that process start for you, and sort of what things individually did you do before you got into the whole Jackaroo camp and everything? But what goals did you set amongst yourself for preparation to get ready for this?
Look, I think as soon as we started to hear the whispers that it was going to be indoors, it was just everything that, all my focus just changed to indoors. So yeah, just trying to do really well at Australian indoor championships, to trying to take the opportunities to play well when I've had the opportunity to play for Australian World Indoors. And then just all the trials, just knowing the importance of every time we go out and trial for Australia on that indoor, just how important it's going to be to perform well, because none of our outdoor results were going to mean anything really.
Yeah, and then obviously you get into the squad, the extended squad, you start playing in different events like the World Cup back in Malaysia, which was pretty much almost what we're going to be seeing when we get to Glasgow, 4 portable rinks on an indoor facility. Although you had to play on the outdoor one as well, but we'll leave that carpet out there. We'll not talk about that one. But how was that? How did you think that was for preparation? Obviously, you and Dawn went pretty well in there as well. It was a singles and a pairs. Do you think that was good for your prep? And did you get sort of a feeling from there that you're in with a good chance of maybe making the final squad?
That was probably a hard one to judge. I think it was great to turn up and play on portable rinks for the first time. That's something that all those athletes that were there have got over, anyone else that wasn't there, to have that opportunity to play on those when they were freshly down as well, I think is really key. I mean, we did go back there a few months after and play again, and that was slightly different. So I think just remembering what they were like when they first went down, that's going to be very important. Happy the way I played on those portable rings at that event in Malaysia. But our team's been picked, and I was leading for Dawnie in Malaysia, and now I'm skipping. So some things I can take away from it, just the conditions and the green. But in terms of our actual combination, we've just flipped it around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, there's the World Cup there in Malaysia, but then you went back to Malaysia again for that multi-nations, and you've had 2 trips to the UK in the first part of this year already, and we're heading back there in a couple of weeks' time. It's been a bit of a whirlwind, and it can be tough for you too, I suppose, having the family and that. How are you managing that side of things?
Yeah, look, I'll be totally honest, with great difficulty. Every time I have to get on an aeroplane and travel overseas, there's always lots of, just nervous energy about, hopefully everything's going to be okay at home. Hopefully the kids don't stress out. Hopefully they go to sleep at night, all that sort of stuff. And then just my own, feeling a bit lost for the first few days without the kids around. But just get through that. Once I get to an event, I'm fine. It's probably just the traveling too, and those first few days, feeling like you've still got so long before you get home. But when you actually start playing, it's like, game time, just want to win. It's all about the bowls, and that the kids they're cool, they're at school or they're doing their own thing. So it's all fine once it starts, I think, and that's going to be key for me for Com Games, is that first few days will be really tough, and then just push through.
And the kids won't be coming over this time. They'll have to stay at home.
Yeah, they're going to stay at home. We've talked about it for a while, but look, unfortunately, we probably, we have so much depth with the men and the women, and Bowls Australia took their time to make the selections, which, rightly so. I think if, I look at it and think if I was a selector, I would have needed all that time, right to the death. None of us knew who was going to get picked. So it just, didn't suit us as a family to have that, late notice of trying to work out, okay, are we going to, jump 2 kids on the plane and, get over there, and just I think the added expense of it as well. Like, I think when a Commonwealth Games rolls into town, all the prices seem to go up.
Yeah, they went through the roof, so they did.
So we're definitely planning some travel. I love travel. So we're definitely planning some travel as a family, but not going to do it. Not going to expect the kids to sit in the grandstands all day watching bowls. So we'll plan some family trips where we can do some fun stuff.
Absolutely. How good's that? Right. So over the last few months, obviously, like we said, you've had a lot of travel. You've been over the UK twice already. But what's your own individual prep looking like? You've already said you're focusing a lot on the indoor. So is that a trip down the road to Tweed, or are you just hammering that carpet at Helensville?
Yeah, I just happy to just jump on the carpet at Helensville, to be honest. For me, it's probably just using the bowls that I'm going to use over in the UK. So I've got some different bowls with a bit of a different grip. So I've just been getting them out as much as I can. The Australian Open probably has a bit of a dent in the preparation a little bit because it's outdoor. But for me, the Australian Open was still important just to be really competitive and out there playing, trying to win every game and just practicing other things. Like, we can't, it's not the same surface and it's not the same bowls, but you can still put yourself in that situation where you're, practicing that every bowl is, for a Commonwealth Games title and practicing, being in those big moments. So that preparation was really good. And then now just the next couple of weeks, just jumping out on the green. A lot of Helensville bowlers have reached out and said they're happy to give us a game, so I think Andrew and I are going to be playing a bit of mixed pairs over the next couple of weeks. He's got a week off work, so we'll just be playing, and I'm very lucky that the BPL shot clocks are floating around close to home, so we can get those out as well and just practice playing in that condition of the 30-second shot clock.
That's great to hear, actually, about that preparation, actually putting the shot clock out there in your practice to get used to that as well. And it's one thing, it's not as alien to you guys as what it is in the UK, because, I mean, you've played a lot of BPLs, Kelsey, you know what it's all about with it. But it's just interesting to hear you say that you're actually going to have that out for mixed pairs.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, the BPL, the shot clock means nothing to me. Like, I'm just chilling out on the sideline for half the game. And then when I am out there, I'm just throwing my 3 balls down. I've got plenty of time, all the time in the world, It's mostly the skips. So for me, especially when that team come out and I saw that I was skipping, I was like, right, okay, this is need to get into that mindset of quick decisions, not taking that extra time, not wasting opportunities early on in the set, save your timeouts for late. So all this like analytical stuff all going through my head. But actually the last trip to Scotland beforehand, I spent some time just out at Helensville, just with a couple of mates with a phone and just like a bowl, just setting up a head and a bowl coming in and me timing how long it takes for me to get back and take a deep breath and grab my bowl and prepare myself for a big shot. So I kind of knew going over to Scotland the last time, I had sort of practiced for that, just knowing that I would be skipping some games over there in part of the trials. So I have prepared for the shot clocks a fair bit because I am a player who likes to take my time. So I've got to get my move on.
It's always key to have that pre-shot routine the same, isn't it? So it's really, that's a great insight into what you guys are doing at the high performance level to make sure you are ready to go. That's awesome. So I like the fact that you're playing with Andrew too, just so you'll be under a little bit more pressure, because obviously he's not going to pepper it like Dawn might. So he'll put you under a bit more pressure, play some more pressure shots maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Joke a fair bit. He's like, "Oh, do you think, do you want me to come down and have a practice?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Oh, do you think maybe like you want to grab someone else, like Wizzo, someone who's really good." And I'm like, so before the last trip to Scotland, I actually hassled Ryan Bester and said, "Can you please come and give me some singles games, and can I skip against you in some pairs?" And just,
Yeah.
so we had his kids running around and my kids running around, and we played some mixed pairs and some singles, and we alternated. Ryan and I led against each other, and then we skipped, and it was just a really good afternoon, just getting prepared for the last trip to Scotland.
That's good to hear you're helping Canada out as well with their preparation. Funny enough, we spoke to Ryan just the other night, and he said he's going to, over the next couple of weeks, he's going to really get down to Helensville a bit more and get rolling on that carpet. So I don't know whether you should be letting him this close to the games, but obviously you've got a relationship there, so I'll let you go.
Last time he comes down, I beat him, so it's all good. Dent in his confidence a bit before the game.
Take that, Ryan. Take that. Just on that, Kel, so what does the next few weeks look like for you? Not just the preparation at Helensville and the shot clocks and rolling up around Andrew, but the travel. I believe you're heading to God's country with Belfast for a test series as well. So what's that look like for you? Who are you playing against? Where are you staying? When do you actually get to Glasgow and start preparing?
Yeah, look, I should know all these. I should have all these answers in the back of my head. I have them somewhere, like in many, many emails that I haven't really read yet. Look, I'm the sort of person that kind of just leaves things till the last minute. I don't.
Yeah.
I just have a lot going on, and I also just don't like to overthink it and be worried about it. I'm that sort of person that will just pack like the day before, and I'll just go through the list and we're going through Singapore, are we? Oh, we're getting to lands at this time, so that's just how I've always rolled. I think I've done it since I was a kid, really, but it's for me, it's just, I don't stress about it. I know that everything's taken care of. We're very, very lucky with Bowls Australia. They're so organized, so I've got all the information. I just have to take the time to read it when I'm ready. But for me, I've still got a few more days of work. I've got some champ fours on the weekend coming up. And then just a couple of days off in the school holidays with the kids before I go. And then we leave on the 12th of July, Sunday the 12th of July. So it's really not that far away.
Yeah, it's coming up quick, isn't it? It's getting there quick. But, man, look, it's your preparation. You've had 20 years as a jackaroo. Nobody else is there to argue. You know what you need to do best. So that's awesome. Man, I got to say, last time we spoke was down at the World Series Finals at Barham. You sat in the commentary box with me. I have to say, the energy levels felt a bit low down there. They look a bit up at this stage. Are you feeling a bit more refreshed? You took a bit of time off after December because it was flat out leading into that. So how's the energy levels and how are you feeling leading into Glasgow?
Yeah, feel good. Definitely made some changes. Was definitely very flat at that particular event, and I think my body was just aching as well. Just a lot of little issues from. Just got a child that just, I don't know, her legs just don't seem to work properly, and she's always got to be picked up. I don't want to fall asleep in the car on the way home, and I've got to carry her up the bloody stairs. Just had some back issues. So a lot of my preparation for Com Games is just to make sure my body is right to go. Because I think if that's right, then I'll feel great. And I know that the bowl side of things will just happen once we get there. So making sure my body's right, get through that long haul flight. Get some chiro and physio into me when I get over there, and then be fighting fit, ready for the day one, which I think is roughly like the 23rd, 24th of July. So I think we're over there for about 10 to 12 days before we actually start competition.
Yeah, nice. But it's only that 3 days of prep in the actual facility where every nation and every player is going to be fighting over that. So we've had a great insight into how you're preparing as is, Kels, but like over your experience, what are you going to rely on in yourself for those 3 shortened days of practice to really get the best out of that so you're ready to go? Because you're straight into it. You're in the women's pairs and you're straight into it from the get-go. So how are you going to utilize that time best in those 3 days?
Look, it's just going to be a bit chaotic. So obviously once we get out there, it's just about making the most of that time. I think a lot of the real technique type stuff, like I'm very analytical. I think about things a lot, and I really need my technique to be good and feeling good for me to play well. So I think I'll get a lot of that done at other venues, just having, a day of just focusing on my drives and running shots and things like that. And then when we actually get the chance to get on at the venue, It'll be purely just trying to work out the best hand on each rink so that as soon as we hit the ground run, in that first game, we know exactly what we're doing with the length and what hand we're going to, what hand Dawnie's going to start off on and what hand I'm going to prefer if in trouble. So, so I think a lot of the work's going to be done away from the venue. Just make the most of the opportunity we've got. I think probably just don't stress about the lack of time we've got, and just back our skills that, whatever the green ends up being like. If it's what it was in Malaysia, great. We've got that experience. If it's not, we just got to play better than our opponent. They're going to be battling too. So just got to back our skills and know we can do it.
Oh, mate, you're showing your experience here. Like, nothing's phasing you. Just get into it. Just back your own ability. You can always roll up and down the hallway of the hotel if you need to. We've done that in the past. Get warmed up, especially if it's raining or whatever and you can't get onto an outdoor green. It's up and down the hallway is always good. What's your thoughts on the shortened format? Obviously, very used to it with the BPL, but what's your thoughts for Commonwealth Games of having this shortened format?
Yeah, look, I mean, when it first was announced, I was like, okay, that's cool. That's exciting for bowls. And then I stopped and thought about it and thought, oh, actually, how am I going to feel if I'm out there playing and it's, someone gets a week on the fourth end or something and, you're like, So then I started thinking, no, I hate this format. But it, went the complete other way, like, oh my gosh, BPL's fun, but there's no gold medals at a Commonwealth Games on the line when you're playing BPL. So, probably it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotions. So, yeah, excited that we're in the Commonwealth Games, excited that it's going to be a fun format and everyone's going to love watching it. A bit daunted as a player. And then now I think I've just come out the other side and I'm just like, right, let's just do it. Like whatever, let's just got to get off to a good start. Just very important those first few ends just to get off to a really good start, I think. And at least we don't have to deal with power play. It's me.
There's you don't need to worry about those tactics on the side yet.
That's one positive. No one's going to be dropping 12s. So just get off to a good start. And I think we just know that nearly every game is going to be a moment in that game where you've got to step up and play a good one, whether it's, to try and win the first set or, stop it going to a tie break and things like that. Regardless of who you're playing, there's going to be big moments that we just got to get through.
That's the psychological part of it. You guys work very, very hard on off the green as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a few psych sessions. That's probably another thing that we've done in the preparation. Whilst we can't get onto a portable rink, or anything like that, but we can still have opportunities to get together and just have a chat about, the tactics that we're going to employ and some of the sports psychology that's going to come into it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you could definitely draw back on the BPL. I know what you're saying. It's two completely different environments as such. But to be able to have that experience to draw back on those type of things, especially in the pairs 5-end sets, is absolutely brutal in a 1-end tie break. So at least you've always got that to fall back on, hey?
Yeah, look, I've loved every minute of playing BPLs. And whilst I've only ever led in a BPL, I still take note of the tactics that we employ. The skips, what they need to be doing. They need to be getting back to the mat when the timeouts should be used. All that sort of stuff. So that's all in the back of my mind. I feel like I'm really across the tactics of the whole situation. Just excited now. Just to get there and get started. It's excited to actually, talk about it a bit more as well. Like it's, we sort of had that excitement of the team getting picked and then we've kind of rolled into like an AO and now it's like, we're actually getting on a plane in a couple of weeks. It's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go back to the bowls as well that you said you're using. So for a lot of people that don't know, you're expected to have 2 sets of bowls there ready to go, a red set, blue set. It doesn't have to be dead on red. It could be whatever you want in a red vicinity or a blue vicinity. So what have we know you synonymous with Drake's Pride and the Drake's Pride Conquest. So what are we going to be using in the UK? Have you gone for a UK model or are you taking a wider Australian model out? What are we going with?
Yeah, no, so I have gone with a UK model. I think that's probably the safest thing to do is just follow what a lot of the guys and girls do at Potters on the portable rings. Yeah. So I've tried a few different. I've tested a few different bowls over the different trips that I've had, but I feel pretty settled on the Drake's Pride Professionals, which is quite a wide drawing bowl. I've probably had one of the widest out of all the girls, and probably the widest out of a lot of the guys too. But I feel like I've got used to it. And really happy with them. Just going with a deeper grip as well. That's just something that I've changed in the last 6 months. Even domestically back home, going with that real deep channel grip. Just feel like really helping with my delivery. I feel like I'm getting my bowl away smoother. Helping when, you do get, it's a bit humid. Like, I just don't know what it's going to be like inside this facility, whether it's going to be really cold or whether they're going to have the aircon blaring and it's going to be cold. But, so I feel confident with the bowls that I've chosen. I've got a couple of other ones that we'll have floating around as backup. But, we'll definitely rock up on the first day with the professionals and, just go with it. I feel like I've played well with them every time I've been over there.
Yeah, nice. So we haven't seen a draw or anything yet, so I don't think we're 100% over who you're playing in your sections or anything. I don't even know if the nations draws are out. I know some teams are still waiting to finally be selected. There's only a couple left. But have you got any particular game plans in mind for when it comes to this type of stuff, especially with that shortened format, or are you just out there, play the ball as it comes?
Look, Johnny and I have had conversations about it. We've played a lot against each other. Not as much with each other. We have of late, with like world championships and things like that. But we've got a bit of an idea of what we want to do that suits both our kind of strengths, I guess. We're sort of going with what we both like. But definitely, with no draw or anything, there's no opportunity to be looking at opposition or thinking about that, which is probably a good thing. We'll just stick to what our strengths are and what we're happy with. And so we've got a plan. Can't tell you what it is though.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can tell me off air. That's fine. I'll just let it slip to the Northern Ireland team. No, that's great. That's great to hear, Kelsey, as well. It just shows you, for our listeners that don't think about that, like you guys do deep think about that at times too, like how you're going to play a game and then go out there and try and execute it. It's not about just rolling the jack and hoping you get them close. You're actually strategically looking at the different lengths, especially with this placements of the jack. So that's awesome. Mate, finally, let's just finish up with goals and expectations. Apart from the obvious and the gold medal, what's Kelsey hoping to get out of her fourth Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, look, definitely the goal is to win gold. I think as well, I break it down into smaller goals. So I think it's just for us just starting well, trying to get up, in those first couple of games, regardless of who we're playing, just start well. The last thing you want to be doing in this format and at a Commonwealth Games is coming from behind and chasing. So just start well, just play our best. And I think if we can, regardless of what happens at the end, if we just walk away knowing that we've given it everything, we've stuck to the plan. We just we backed each other. I think we're gonna have a great experience. We're gonna really enjoy playing together. And that's regardless of what happens, it's gonna be a great experience.
Awesome, mate. Thank you very much for your time, Kels, and thank Agent Andrew there for setting this up for me as well. It was great to get this off the ground. Mate, I'd love to have you back and go into more in-depth discussion over your whole career. I mean, your longevity, like we said, has been phenomenal. You've been playing this at this level since you were 15. Like, that's insane to think about. But yeah, mate, it'd be great to have you back on. So thanks for this short bit of time now and letting us know what it's like leading into Glasgow. And yeah, all the best for when you get over there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, definitely happy to come back on. I think got some big things going to be happening in the next few months. So exciting times for me. I'm actually going to play more bowls than I've ever played before. So who would have thought?
Jeebers, how good's that? Well, mate, more than happy to come and have a chat with you about it. I mean, you're a legend of the game already. Hall of Famer, one of the youngest to do it already. So, Kelsey, it'd be great to get you back on here about the rest of your career. But for now, like I said, all the best. Safe trip over there to Glasgow and good luck when you get there.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Go the Aussies.
Does the weather app say rain? That doesn't matter. Does the weather app say blazing sun? That still doesn't matter. With a MacMax Bowling Green canopy, the only forecast you care about is who's winning the triples on Rink 5. For all weather play, make it a MacMax. Okay, folks, continuing our interviews, and we've got a double daunter here for us now. I feel like a rose between two thorns. We've got Teri Blackbourn, para-athlete from New Zealand, and we've got Selina Goddard from New Zealand as well. Ladies, thanks for coming on, having a chat to us.
No, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Not a problem. Selina, third games coming up. How's that feel?
Yeah, pretty surreal. I think like probably most people in sport, if you think if you can get to one Commonwealth Games, you're pretty, chuffed about that. I don't think if you told me when I was younger that I'd be attending 3 that I'd probably believe you. So yeah, pretty surreal to make that team again and give it another shot.
And another chance to travel to Glasgow for it as well.
Yeah, I know. It's actually really full circle because it was 2014, my debut, and now here we are again. And the dates also very much align. Like the opening ceremony in 2014 is the same day as it was this year. So many
wow,
things.
there you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities happening at the moment, besides from the very obvious of the format, which is wildly different.
Yeah.
But the feeling of it all is, it's pretty nuts to think back then how I felt compared to now how I'm feeling too.
Yeah, awesome. And Teri, this is your first go at the Commonwealth Games. You are a world champion. You haven't taken to the outdoor for too long, though. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I had a couple of years as a teenager, but primarily focused on the indoor bowls scene. On the mats. Had a long career there. Still keep my hands in it because I've got 2 boys and they're coming through, so I enjoy playing with them. But yeah, it was after watching the girls in Birmingham. I played a little bit with them. A lot of bowls with Selina in our junior years. We played pairs in the junior reps together. Tuning in and watching them and just going so well, I think it gave me the bug. I still probably at that point didn't think I was going to come back to the outdoor bowl scene. But yeah, a few encouraging words from friends sort of found me back in there. And yeah, I guess to have all these opportunities that have come up since then, just in the last few years, it's been pretty awesome, to be honest.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, Selina came away from Birmingham with 2 bronze medals, and you've obviously looked at that and thought, well, if she can do that, I can do that, so I'm just going to take it up. And then you go and you win a world title in your first year, so it's not too bad, is it?
She definitely sets the benchmark, so something to aspire to for sure. I think we were looking at my Aero Bowls profile the other day, and what I hadn't realised was that I'd put in what was it, Selina? Like my heroes in bowls, and Selina was up there. So that would have been written a couple of years ago, but still hasn't changed.
No, very good. It's always good to have those relationships coming up through. It's the beauty of our sport. But representing New Zealand isn't new to you. Like you said, you did represent New Zealand on the indoor scene. Youngest ever national championship winner as well. Is that record still held?
Yeah, it is still held. My 2 boys want to try and change that, but I've told them they're not allowed to attend the national championships until they're older than 14.
Yeah.
But no, it's represented New Zealand. I think 2015 was my debut for the indoor team. Really, the only international opportunities we have on indoor bowls is playing against Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a biannual Trans-Tasman Test match. We also did have one excursion over to England in 2018. We played them at their game as well as Norway, but indoor bowls was fairly new to Norway as a country. So yeah, it's been very different coming into the outdoor bowls world and just having all these international opportunities coming up. And of course, the Commonwealth Games is just different again, where you're part of that wider New Zealand team and have all the different sporting codes and different athletes there. So yeah, really looking forward to that side of things.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that and talk about the selection process for you both to be selected for Commonwealth Games. I mean, Selina, you're well documented. You're traveling back and forth between New Zealand and Australia and going and representing all the time that you can. Teri, you're based a lot more in New Zealand at home. Obviously, a mother of 2, holding down a day job. So, what was your preparation like? How long ago did you start focusing on the games? And what did you have to do with Bowls New Zealand to basically be considered for this to go forward?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Then Teri, add anything that you think I've missed. For us, it's sort of, I guess, after the last major event, which was the 2023 World Champs. Obviously, we all thought that we were going to be going initially into a Commonwealth Games of a standard team size, and we all know the story on how it went with Melbourne and then Glasgow picking it up and then hearing that it was a reduced squad. I think, if anything, it was probably when the World Cup came up, the idea of the World Cup, the event of the World Cup, when Bowls New Zealand, I guess, channeled more into the format, the sets play, the carpet, we have quite a few squads in New Zealand. We've got a sort of wider, larger squad that can consist of, I don't know the exact number, Teri. It sometimes feels like a group of, say, picking on the women, like 15 of us to 20 of us, same as the men. And as we lead into these major events, that squad sort of gets more concentrated and more reduced. And when that World Cup came up, that was an opportunity for Bowls New Zealand to, I guess, select who they felt could maybe make a lot out of that opportunity. It was obviously quite a hard one to select for because it was only sending 2. And for the Commonwealth Games, talking about the Open here in particular, there was an option. Well, at the Commonwealth Games, there's 3 that go, or the option for countries to send 2. So I think for Bowls New Zealand, they probably looked at that more as, for the World Indoors, we don't have any qualification for that. Our New Zealand crew, they go ahead and select for that. So they sort of knew that there was always a singles opportunity there, but there was no pairs filler. So that World Cup was probably more directed at pairs possibilities and pairs combinations. And then, I think that World Cup, as we know, was extremely brutal. You had such a condensed, tight-knit, the best of the best, attending that from very recent performances. So it was a really true test to see how you performed in that format against some of the best. And we learned a lot in the training for the World Cup. We did, as a whole squad with the Open and Para, we were all training together. So we had a few camps around the country and lead up to that. And then after the World Cup, there was one more event that was just for the Opens, purposely directed around carpet play, which was the 7 Nations in Malaysia.
Yep.
And for that, they sent over 3 women and 6 men. So a bit of a option there to, I guess, maybe deeper explore the men in a way.
Yeah.
And then as for the para, it was just the World Cup, wasn't it, Teri? Really. On top of that, national performances are always taken into account as well.
Yeah, so when you're playing in those Australian Opens and the Victorian Opens, and you're over here playing in the Australian events, BPL as well, you've had a crack at that a couple of times now. Back of your mind, it is perform well here, get a New Zealand cap, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you enter in those events yourself. You do it for your own reasons. I think, though, when you are preparing for a major event, like at the back of your mind, you are thinking, well, what is my big goal in this game, and how are all the choices and events I choose to play in, how does that all align with what I'm trying to achieve? So traveling over to Australia in particular as a New Zealander is so beneficial for our game, because you'll only get as good as the people around you, and the people around you locally might be incredible, but you won't exactly get that diversity. You won't exactly get the diversity in people, the diversity in conditions, surfaces. So I think all of those, I guess, making yourself a bit uncomfortable in these new environments are really beneficial to your game in the long run, and putting yourself under pressure as much as possible. So you obviously look for good performances at those events. Try and keep very process focused, not outcome focused, and that hopefully all leads to your big goal, which for us is this Commonwealth Games.
Absolutely. And what's it like then for you, Teri, just being based in New Zealand 100% of the time? What events are you targeting to perform well in, to make sure that you're at the forefront of selectors' minds?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not traveling to Australia and exposing myself to all of the levels and conditions that Selina was talking about, but I still very much approach each event or each practice that I'm doing, just like Selina said, you're working towards that big picture. This is my goal for this event or for this practice. Reflections are a huge part of my training plan, and that's where I get a lot of value. So just always looking at what I'm getting out of it, what's going well, what am I working on. And I think it's an interesting one. Just going back to the World Championships in 2023, you know, the paras, that's 2 para women, 2 para men, and a vision impaired mixed pair, and that's exactly the makeup of our Com Games team. So we didn't necessarily have the same reduced numbers that the Open team did. Obviously, in the World Cup, we were reduced to 1 man and 1 woman, and that became a mixed pair. So that did look a little bit different. But yeah, I think the prep is always the same. And, you know, Selina touched on it as well. You know, results are a bonus, and they obviously strengthen your case for selection, but it's all the performance focused stuff, process focused, what you're doing off the green as well. And it all just paints a really good picture. And it all just leads to building towards something bigger than that prep in that moment.
Well, having that world title under your belt and then getting the silver medal in the singles at the World Cup obviously put you in really good stead to make sure that you kept that spot as lead in the women's power team. So how long after the World Cup did you sort of find out that you were definitely going to be going, or was it just that official announcement that you were both front and center on with photographs on Instagram, etc.?
It's funny because my kids were really set on me going to Com Games, and I think after even the World Champs, they were thinking very far ahead, which is not how I operate. And I mean, I'll think far ahead, but there's no expectations for me. I try not to get my hopes up. I'm always just looking at what I can be doing to help strengthen my case. And I think going into the World Cup, I said, well, you know, boys, you know, being selected for this shows that I'm, I guess, top of mind in a way. Like, it's a good thing that I've been selected here, but if I were to get a medal, like, that's going to help my case. And then, of course, my 10-year-old was like, well, make sure you come back with a medal then, you know. It really puts the pressure on. So, no, he was very stoked when that happened. But, I mean, we didn't get told officially, Selina, till maybe March, did we?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. And then, of course, you got to wait for announcement days. So, we probably sit on that for a couple of weeks, maybe. I can't remember now, but it's obviously, I think it probably more sunk in for me than once friends and family in the wider bowls community found out, because
found out it was happening.
Yeah, it becomes more real then.
Yeah, for sure. And how was your experience at the World Cup in Malaysia? Obviously, in those 4 portable rinks. Well, not worry about the outdoor greens as such. 4 portable rinks, condensed format. Like, there was times you were nearly playing 3 sessions in a row, and then getting a couple of sessions off and going again. Like, it was mental over there playing in the singles and the pairs events. So, how was that for you? And then coming away with a silver medal?
I think it's an interesting one. I think for paras, you know, we don't often play singles, so that was different in itself. On the indoor bowls game, I love singles. Some people would see me as a specialist singles player, but I don't feel that way in outdoor. Like you say, the sets play is very different. I think in a standard game, I would back myself to, you know, get a feel for what's working for me or not working well for the opposition, and identify patterns of the game. But in the sets play, you don't have the same amount of time or ends to gather that information and, you know, make decisions that can impact the game in a really big way. So that was all a really big learning curve. I think going into it, 2 events, I was in the pairs with Kurt, and I think naturally when you're in a team, or certainly the way I operate, I put a really high price on the team event, and I probably didn't put a lot of mental energy into the singles until I was in that event. But it was nice to just sort of settle in, find a rhythm. I was really lucky to have Mike Kernahan as my rink coach for all of my games, I think. And I really enjoyed that element of it. I think the silver medal was really cool. It's not often I come off a loss and feel happy with how I played. So, kudos. Yeah, kudos to my opposition. Like, I was actually really happy with the game overall. I can pinpoint where I lost it, but I think overall it's nice to feel at peace with how that game went.
It was, and definitely the experience of playing on the portable, because that's pretty much going to be the same setup that we're going to see over in Glasgow. The 4 portables, all televised at the same time. 2 will have commentary and 2 will just be live streamed. So, it's going to be interesting. So what's the next couple of weeks look like for you 2 girls? Like, we're only about 3.5 weeks out from travelling over. What have you got coming up, both at home and that? Teri, how are you managing that? Obviously, with leaving a day job for a while and leaving 2 kids at home. Or are they coming with you? They seem to be
boys.
very, very invested anyway from talking to you, which is awesome.
Yeah. I'm so over the moon because they are coming.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping to make it happen, but wasn't sure that I'd be able to. And yeah, I'm just stoked because they often do get dragged down to the bowls green with me to practice. Sometimes they'll practice with me. Other times they're just sort of making their own fun next door to me or in and around the green. I think the other day, the boys were running their own little boot camp and doing all these exercises. So I think just to be able to give back to them in that way is really exciting for me. And I think they'll just really send to me, and having them there, it just reminds you of, a big reason of your why and why you do this and who you do it for and how they support me. So yeah, really looking forward to having them over there. I probably won't see a whole lot of them, but I'm just excited for them because it is a trip of a lifetime. But yeah, the next 2 weeks, I think, just trying to get all the ducks in a row, really. Definitely feel like I'm being pulled in a lot of directions at the moment. They're all good directions, but it just feels quite hectic. So I'm actually looking forward to getting over to Belfast, is where we'll start for a good 10 days. And just having bowls as the sort of the sole focus will be, I think really beneficial to me. I'm happy with how it's all tracking, but it will be nice to just really hone in on it all and sharpen up over those last couple of weeks. How about you, Selina?
I love Teri's boys. They're adorable.
Yeah, nice.
They just love the bowls as well, and just have such great attitudes with us, like when we're in team environments, and obviously like supporting their mum. It's just like so gorgeous to see. We're very, very lucky, our New Zealand team, in terms of like the support that we get. And like our families sort of all start to reunite together when we go away for these major events. We have friends keeping friends updated and things. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And one thing I really pride like our New Zealand culture and team about is like we genuinely all really care about each other and genuinely.
You do, from the outside looking in, you just look very, very close knit. So you do. Like you and Caitlin have played a lot together too. You've played that World Cup together. You've been picked together to play in this event. Like you do seem, especially on the women's side, to be very, very tight knit group. So it's great to look at from outside for a cultural perspective, 100%. So what are you up to the next couple of weeks? Are you just based in New Zealand until you fly now? Are you going to be back and forward to Australia? Where are you rolling up? What roll ups are you doing to get yourself right?
Yeah, so I'm heading off to the UK next week. So very, very soon. I'm heading over just a bit sooner than the rest of the team. After the Australian Open, I guess I was tossing whether to sort of go straight from the Australian Open over there or spend a week at home, and decided to spend a week at home, play in a couple of PBA events that sort of aligns with the format and the style.
Yep. Nice.
Also just to get things organised. We talk a lot about when major events come up, you sort of got to get your house, your home's tidy, and your home's not your physical home. It's a lot of things. It's your work. It's your connections with your loved ones. It's just making sure that everything back there is all sorted. So when you get to the arena, you can just focus on your job at hand. Currently in the process of that, just sorting out a lot of life admin, make sure to go to the dentist, make sure that your car's not going to run out of the rego when you get back, all those sorts of things. Really looking forward to heading over there and, seeing Sam and his family and, just getting on those surfaces too. I think I have an opportunity to get on I know it's not the portable rinks, but it's still wooden underlaid carpet, just playing with the bowls that I'm going to be bowling with, getting used to that. The rest of the team arrive between the 11th, 12th of July. So we're all going to be meeting over in Ireland and have just over a week there before we head to the games. So I think for myself, got a couple more things in New Zealand just to work on. But once I get over to the UK, it's just about getting familiar. It's about watching that bowl bend back. I think us as, say, New Zealanders, and probably a lot of Australians can relate, when we play on our carpets, like, they're very inconsistent compared to if you've played over in the UK. It's very consistent. So
Yeah.
like, one thing that's probably been more so embedded in my game is I'm always fine-tuning a bowl. Like, you let one go, you're so aware of your surroundings, you make a little adjustment for the next one, your brain just defaults to doing that. Whereas when I was over in the UK, I remember when I first got there in December, like, the biggest learning for me was just genuinely believing what you're seeing and knowing if you actually do the exact same thing again, you will get the exact same result.
Yeah.
And it might sound simple, but just to really embed it in your mind that that's how true those carpets are.
Yeah.
So, trying to find your line to the jack as soon as possible, like that pace. And then once you've found that, just trying to embed it. So a lot of repetition, I think, when I get over there, and just locking that mindset in, be a massive focus.
So you're getting a fair bit of prep anyway. You're going to be over in Belfast for a test series against some of the other nations. But in terms of the actual arena itself, we've spoke to everyone about this. You're only going to get 3 days in there, and everyone's fighting for the same amount of time to try and fine-tune that. So what's your best way? What do you think is going to be the best way, both of you, of utilising your time on those portable rinks in the actual arena to get used to that before you actually start playing? And then obviously is there an advantage or disadvantage to those nations that are only sending 2? Because some of you are going to have to sit and wait until you play. Others are going to be playing straight away. Some are going to be playing the entire time because they're playing singles and pairs. So how's that looking like for you girls?
I guess for you, Selina, you're in that first week, so you're in the same boat as everyone else. In the para events, there won't be anyone doubling up, so it won't affect me either. But I hadn't actually considered that until listening to Sam and Ross's podcast yesterday. And it will be interesting because it is really valuable time. But I think, you talk about getting limited time pre-event on those rinks. And I don't know, Selina, I think it's just about being really intentional and taking in as much as possible on the, within that time that you do get on the rinks. I guess for me, I'm playing in the second week. So, I'm looking forward to cheering on the team in that first week. And, watching isn't the same as playing, but it's still information, and just getting used to, watching bowls go up at the speed they're going up, and watching where they're breaking and things like that. And, I guess it's having that balance of gathering information, but also when you do go out and play, it's, you're not relying on that as much. You've got to be open to what you're seeing when you're playing it and how it feels. But that's how I'll probably be approaching it.
Yeah. What about you, Selina?
Yeah, we don't know what the schedule's going to look like. We don't know how much time we're going to get. Probably a blessing in a way. When we played the Seven Nations in February, we had I don't know if this is quite right, but it felt like 1 hour to learn 4 rinks. And that was it before we started.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not very ideal. However, I think the matter is, well, with us and the women pairs, it will be the same for everybody else. So I think you just got to think of ways, how can you be smarter with your time? If everyone is only getting an hour, if everyone's only getting an hour and a half, what are you going to apply? What are you going to do to make sure that you get the most out of that? And that probably the answer to that could be different for each person. Like, how do you learn? How do you learn rinks? Is it visualization? Is it by are you looking at that breaking point? Are you looking for anything in the rink that could give a clue if you'd favour a certain hand? But then also being very open-minded that what you experience on that previous day may be very different to when you get there on the day. A lot of my training in particular has just been around adaptability. So just really trying to not feel comfortable in anything that I do. Just get on rinks that I would never default to. I know my local club, I'll always go to rink 3. I'm staying off rink 3. I'm going now to rink 6 and rink 5. Just really trying to change it up as much as possible, because I do believe in bowls, those that can adapt the fastest will give you the best, advantage, and they'll give you the toughest game. And we all know how much a good start can really give you the upper hand and sort of dictate how a game can go to a defence. I think also probably as someone who plays lead as well, I know how important that is to apply pressure from the very beginning. So
especially in these short formats too. It's
you just won't really have. You just got to really trust yourself. Like, you got to choose a hand, choose a spot, choose a link that, I always do believe play to your strengths first. But then be very adaptable. Like, if that doesn't work for you, like, what's your plan B, your plan C, your plan D, just so everything feels in control as much as possible.
Yeah.
While you've only got 5 ends per set to try and mitigate all of that. So you just got to be very switched on to the choices you're making and why you're making those choices to try and eliminate any, I guess, like nothing bowls, non-effective bowls. So just be creative with how you're going to use that training time. If it's an hour or if it's 2, that would be a blessing.
At least it's the same for everyone. But like, England's not going to get any additional time to you, or Scotland's not going to get any less time to anyone else. It's the rinks are going down just that week before. You're all going to have 3 days, and as you said, it's going to adapt and change because they're going to be pretty fresh. It takes carpets a little while to settle down. They're going to get hammered from morning to night. It'll be different by the time Teri comes to play in the second week. So it will be interesting to see how everyone adapts to that. As you said, whoever gets that the quickest is going to have a real benefit, especially in these short, sharp formats, which, again, we spoke about. You've had experience of that in the BPL. Teri, what's your experience, or what's your thoughts on these shorter formats? The 5-end pairs, 1-end tie break, settling the jack down.
Yeah, my only real experience is from that World Cup. But I did really enjoy it. I think on those couple of training camp weekends we had as a team leading into Malaysia, I think the first one especially, when we were just practicing, it would have been the first time I practiced the set play. I thought, man, I just wasn't ready for it to be like the last end already. Or I think maybe, I had to make a decision on what length to play for a tie break. And I thought, I don't even really know. And that confused me because it's something I would usually be quite confident on. It was just being really switched on from the get-go, and like I say, just being so intentional even in that one trial end, which I guess sometimes in a standard format, rightly or wrongly, maybe not so much on the international stage, but you sort of go through the motions, you can fall into that trap a little bit. So you just don't have the luxury of doing that on any level, and firstly international play, but sets play as well. But I guess also just maybe drawing on the indoor bowls background, which I like to do often, as Selina knows. But I think a lot of our games there are quite short. We don't get trial ends. I played, it was middle of June. I took the boys down to Rotorua for an open singles, pairs and fours event across 3 days. And the singles event were 9-end singles, no trial ends, because that's not something that happens in indoor bowls. And sure, it might not be on the bigger scale, but it's still, it's really cool just familiarizing yourself with that shorter format again mentally. So I got a lot out of that weekend. And I think also, even just with the portable rinks, being inside, not contending with wind or anything like that, that's something I'm familiar with as well. I guess on the indoor scene, if I can hit my straps and get a rhythm going and get that feel for it, all that muscle memory just goes really well. And I guess when I've played, and I probably found that more so in the singles and the pairs for the World Cup, but once I hit my straps in the singles, I felt like, I felt quite confident in what I was doing at that time. I'm just hoping I can find that rhythm over in the Com Games as well. But, I always say that I'm a mixed bag. Try and find the good stuff.
Absolutely. That's what high performance is all about. Right, Selina, this is your third one. It's got a bit of a different feel to it, or does it all feel the same? Just business as normal, get over there, try and win a medal? Or is it just because we are indoors, it's a shorter, condensed Commonwealth Games? Has it got a different feel for you?
It's interesting. It's a different one, right? Because I think of when 2022 happened in 2014 for me. that was obviously in Glasgow and Birmingham. So the surface that we were going to was wildly different than what we experience here in New Zealand. For those, we were practicing on croquet greens.
Yeah.
So it's similar in the fact, right? Like with this one, yes, we're going to an indoor surface and we can replicate that as much as possible. However, it's still not exactly what it will be like. Whereas I guess when you think of those, when say picking on 2022, you could actually go to the green, you could look around, you can get familiar. Those that had that luxury could do that. We've just, well, in my experience, I've never had that. I've never been able to exactly replicate what a scenario would be like. So yes, it's a little bit uncomfortable being like, we don't know what it's going to look like, don't know what it's going to play like. But actually, if I peg it right down, it's like, Selina, it's always been like that for you.
Yeah.
Something. So why is this any different? I think that probably a difference this time is Caitlin and I have played a lot of pairs together, feel very, very lucky that firstly you get to play with your mate and you like there is just so many conversations that we have that are so vulnerable, they're so open, they're so raw, because essentially we just want to get the best out of each other, and there is never any judgment, there is never any expectation, there is none of that. It is just pure, you got my back, I got your back, let's do this, let's make it happen, and let's have a hell of a time doing it together too. And since 2022, that was our first time sort of put together as a pair. And we've just had all this time just sharing the highs and the lows of bowls together. And it will almost feel like a bit of a superpower for us now when we get there, that it genuinely feels like nothing could come between us, nothing could rattle us. There's no pressure that could ever happen to us that would, affect us as a combination. So I feel very, just very, very grateful that I get to play with Caitlin in this, and we get to apply everything we've learned over these last 4 years together. And yes, this format is just so brutal. I think that Caitlin especially has played so many BPLs that she has a really sound understanding of moments that can win games, moments that can lose game, and genuinely those moments might be the exact same. It's just that one time it works, one time it doesn't. So we just have a lot of, I guess our mind, when we think of that short format, we understand the highs and the lows of it all. But yeah, I just feel very lucky that I'm going into this with someone who has such experience in that format and is your great mate as well.
Absolutely. And not only that, you've got the bronze last time out as well. She's done. And New Zealand had a phenomenal, especially on the women's side. I like to remind Ali that the men haven't won a medal since 2002. But the women had a phenomenal time out last time. 3 bronze medals you came away with, I think, in their pairs, triples and fours, didn't you? And you got 2 of those.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We it is nuts too, because you think of the bronzes, and like one bronze you're real chuffed with, one bronze you're a bit gutted because because of how the games went. You think like, bugger, made a mistake in that one. That could have been the difference to us getting to that final. But essentially, you look at your whole campaign, you've lost 2 games out of how many, and look at all the teams you've played to get in those positions. So, there is a lot of mixed feelings around that. But all in all, for, I guess, the preparation that we had for where we were at back then too, I think that's probably quite key to think of. We're in a different space now, but back then, 3 bronze medals for our women's team was beyond the expectation. So, there is a lot of good memories from back then to draw on.
Absolutely. Carrying the men. I like to see it. Teri, first one. How's the excitement levels? Are you managing them, or are you just letting them run wild at the minute?
I think I'm someone that I'm quite a person that's in the moment and focusing on the present. And so I don't really, even though I visualize ahead of times and things like that, it's not until I'm in that environment where I can really feel what I'm feeling. And I don't know if that makes sense, but Yeah, definitely excited for it. I know I'll be incredibly nervous when I get there, but that's all part of it. I think for me, the key focus is just, making sure I enjoy that whole experience, but also probably being okay that if I slip into a bit of a bad headspace, that's bound to happen, and probably just being okay with that and managing that. But overall, I just really want to, enjoy it, because I think I would have regrets if I didn't.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll finish up, ladies. You've given me a lot of your time here, and I really appreciate it. But goals and expectations. Let's start with you, Selina. As we said, 2 bronzes last time out. What are we hoping for this time?
I know. I think so. My goal is always, if I can commit to everything I know that is right for me, if I can commit to all my processes and everything that I do, I'm going to give myself the best opportunity to be at the top of that podium. I think it's hard to ignore. You don't go to these things. You have to believe that you can be at the top of that. That's fundamental. You've got to tell yourself that that's possible every time. But how I will get there is by committing to my processes 100%. It's by all those little things that make us different as a peer, that we know are our point of difference. And don't be lazy, focus on that, execute it, and the results, they will come.
Yeah, nice. What about you, Teri?
Yeah, I think I look back to when Julie and I first teamed up for the multinations, and we had nothing to lose really, because we're a new combination, very new to each other. I was new to the outdoor bowl scene, but we came away with a silver there. So I think coming into World Champs, the expectations were different. I guess expectations is the wrong word. Maybe expectations from others, potentially, I don't know. But we knew what we were capable of, and we're very hungry for that gold, as much as you try not to be too outcome focused. But I think same again, like going into Com Games, we know that we're capable of it. But like Selina says, it's just putting your best foot forward in every aspect of the game, on and off the green that you can. And that's what's going to get you there. But that's the focus. So again, no expectations, but of outcome, but maybe just the goal and expectation of the standard we're going to hold ourselves to, and that's what we'll be looking at.
Awesome. Well, girls, enjoy it. Have a safe trip over there. Hopefully catch up with you while we're over there. But thanks very much for your time today. It was great insight. I could have talked to you all day, but we'll not keep you away from your day jobs too much longer. So thanks again for coming on, folks, and look forward to hearing this one when it comes out live.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, DJ.
I just want to take this time to welcome on board a new partner of the Waterloo Bulls podcast and the Bulls Academy, and that is Dhaka Architecture. Absolute experts when it comes to clubland and designing your club, redesigning your club, adding things. They're experts in the industry. So if that's something you're interested in, your club maybe needs a bit of a refurb, doesn't matter how big or how small, get in touch with Tony Maluccio down there at Dhaka Architecture. Mate, they are absolute gun of a team, and they'll do everything they can to help you out. So welcome on board, Tony and team, Dhaka Architecture. Well, there you go, mate. It was Ladies' Week this week. Selina and Teri, and of course Kelsey. Mate, I got to tell you, I really enjoyed these interviews for a lot of different reasons. We sat down with Selina previously. We knew how methodical she was with her thinking, and she's just great to talk to, mate. She's great for the game. Does a lot of stuff behind the scenes with World Bulls around the marketing things. Teri, mate, fascinated by Teri. Really, really am. Like what she has to go through to play our game, like physically, and then off the green as well, with all the child stuff and the family stuff. Sorry, it's just unbelievable. And then Kelsey, who's just an absolute living legend as it is, only 35 years of age. I think she's second all time, just behind Karen. And I reckon that cap record's got to be coming close, not to jinx her, and hopefully she doesn't get dropped anytime soon. But mate, she's not slowing down.
No,
she's not slowing down either. And mate, so I really enjoyed sitting down there. We had those snippets of the interviews, mate, but we sat there for even longer talking to the girls about different things. But what did you pick up from those interviews, mate, that you wanted to bring to the forefront?
Oh, look, I think that some of the key things from it was maybe being very event specific in what they're doing on the lead up. Like they're focusing on being on the carpet really, and not just going out to random bowls clubs or random tournaments, events, galas, whatever it may be. And they are being very specific in what they're doing. One of the best quotes or lines was Selina's very process focused and not outcome focused. And that's one of the massive takes that all of us listeners out there be process focused and not on the outcome, because your process will deliver the outcome, hopefully, that you want. So let's think about what we do in the lead up to games, during games, and after games. And that's what the elite do. And they're not focused on that, really on that final result, but they think that'll take care of itself if they're right on their processes and what they do before, during, and after games. So that's a massive takeaway, and I think that was definitely evident in what Selina was saying, and also her likes of her adaptability. She talked about changing rinks when practicing. So how many times would a club bowler go and change rinks during a practice session? I've never seen it on a green.
No.
I don't know about up at Maitland City, but
not unless we got the drill sessions on, because you do a different drill for each rink you move to. But just to go up there and have a genuine roll up, and we've seen it firsthand at Barham. Like her and Sam rolling up together, and it was just right. We got whatever time frame on this rink, and they just every day leading into it, just moved across the rinks the way they went. They wanted to know them things inside and out.
They definitely don't get comfortables for 30 minutes, 40 minutes on the same rink. They switch across and change it up in lengths, map position, all that kind of thing. So definitely adaptability, and something that we can all take away from that. So yeah, look, it was great couple of interviews that you've done there, DJ, and off the back of some great ones previously, and we've still got a couple to go next week. So yeah, look, really, really good and insight, and yeah, it was good to get out there for the listeners, and also gets you a bit of a look at the players and a bit more personality from the players. Like, it's something we don't all get to sit down and have a chat to them. So
no,
definitely makes them more accessible to us as the mere mortal bowlers that just go out and have a go. So yeah, for sure, man. It was great to sit down with them. All three of them girls with their careers, like Kelsey in particular, could sit down and do an hour-long episode like we've done in the past. And you never know, down the track, hopefully we do that. In fact, Kelsey's could probably be a 3-parter, mate. Like, she's just, she's a top shelf person. They're just away from the game as well. But the way she thinks about things and does stuff, and to give up that time, she drove home that day. They're on holiday down in North Coast in New South Wales, and they've driven home that day, and she's basically got out of the car, hopped in there and sat down and chatted with me it was only meant to be 15-20 minutes. It was the best part of 45 or so. Yeah.
So that was great to see. But like I said, it was great to have obviously the women's side of things on there as well, because there's a lot of amazing elite women out there, but to get someone from the power community on there as well, and Teri, and just sit and talk to her, mate, and just the off-air conversation with her is just fascinating about what she has to go through with that rheumatoid arthritis. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name she was diagnosed with, because it was kid. You don't have it in kids. It's a different diagnosis when you're kids, but she was diagnosed with this at 17 months old. 17 months old, the parents have gone, there's something just not quite right here, just swelling and redness in the joints and stuff, and that's what it turns out to be. And she played the indoor and stuff and dabbled a bit with the outdoor when she was in school, went away from it, just played the indoor, came back to it. But some of the things that girl has to go through, she never sees herself as para either. She looks at people with a limb missing or people with clear physical disabilities, and then she went and got herself classified, became a world champion. But like just some of the things that she has to talk to. She talks about the mental side of the game too. Like, she really has to mentally compensate over the physical sometimes, because she can just have so much pain during the games. Like, she did 4 sessions in a row at the World Cup in Kuala Lumpur, and just has to adjust it on the fly because a joint started to hurt during the day, and she doesn't know when it's coming, it's coming. It could be absolutely anything. It's amazing. And deliveries have to change. Like, sometimes she can't hold the thumb up the bowl because it's sore. Sometimes she can't step as far as she normally does. Can't swing the shoulder back as far as she normally does. And she has to adapt to this on the fly and just put it to the one side and go, well, let's just go and get the job done,
Yeah.
So yeah, phenomenal. But like, yourself, mate, just playing, like, your grip strength going at any time, and you've got to adapt to that.
Yeah.
And not just rolling up on the green, Simon, or playing number 1 pennant, but this is playing at the top level that they can play at. This is representing New Zealand at a Commonwealth Games or a World Cup or a World Championships. And something's going wrong with the body, and she just has to adapt and can still come away with that and win stuff. Like, that is fascinating. But it just highlights how our sport is for all and inclusive, and the most inclusive sport in the world.
Yeah.
So it is, and that's something that's definitely being pushed as well. And yeah, mate, looking forward to what we see in Glasgow. Bit of inside information for you too, although it's not really inside anymore. It's sort of, by the time this comes out, it'll be in the public domain. But oversubscribed on the entries, which means we got an extra day's play.
Yeah.
So we already had 10 in a row. It's now 11 in a row. We're actually playing before the opening ceremony. So anyone wants to watch Commonwealth Games on that day, can't scratch the itch long enough to wait till after the opening ceremony. The entire Commonwealth can just sit there and watch the bowls.
Watch lawn bowls. How good's that?
Bowls, Simon. It's not lawn anymore. It's on the indoor.
Yeah, but we'll still call it lawn bowls.
Yeah, but they get to sit there and watch the bowls, man, and some of the best doing it for 5 sessions on the first day. So how good's that as well? Like, it's just great advertisement for the sport. But
Absolutely.
yeah, thank you again to those 3 ladies that sat down and had a chat with us. It's great to do those sort of, I say 1-on-2 interviews, but to have the 3 of us sitting there and bouncing off each other and moving around, it's something different. I've fairly enjoyed that with both Ali and Kelly, and then obviously Selina and Teri. So yeah, maybe some of them down the track as well. But mate, yeah, fantastic. And yeah, thanks again to those girls for giving up the time to do that and really show everyone what it's all about. So yeah, hopefully have them on at another time.
Absolutely. Now, for the listeners, we've got banked a good few interviews. We've got another 1, potentially 2 coming up next week, and that'll be right at the start of the kickoff of the game. So we'll get a bit more from us too in terms of draws, matchups, what's happening, and also from yourself, DJ, preparations, heading over there for commentary, as you've said 100 times on the show so far. So
that's only on 1 episode that you listen to.
How's that? Is the suitcase full already? Is it?
Twice over. So yeah. Oh man, it's a bit of it's sitting there going a bit of the unexpected. A little bit of a downer this week, gotta tell you. Like, just sitting there realizing I'm walking away from Yana and the kids next Sunday and going away for the other side of the world for a bit. It's a bit strange, but hopefully you'll be busy enough when you get over there to get over that.
Absolutely. Only natural. You'll be busy commentating, so it'll soon fly in. You'll be back here and you'll have to listen to me instead. So
I'll be sure to call you from the car, mate, and let you hear me crying on the way down to Sydney in that 2.5 to 3 hour drive to the airport.
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to it, mate. Our preparation's going well. Me and Barry doing a lot of chat behind the scenes as well over what we could possibly expect and what we might be able to bring, because we'll be doing hopefully a few interviews while we're there too, or a few little videos for World Bowls while we're there. So keep an eye out for that too. All being well. And looking forward to it. But for now, that's episode 78. We will be back next week again with 79. Definitely with 1 interview, maybe a second. But look, they're only small fish, these 2. So we'll not promote it too much just yet. But yeah, as always, folks, keep that little disc on the inside.
And good luck on those greens. The views, information, or opinions expressed during What a Load of Bulls podcast episodes are solely those of the individuals involved and do not represent those of any group, organisation, or employer associated or affiliated to individuals. This podcast is for general information purposes only, to educate and inform. This podcast does not constitute professional advice or services. What a Load of Bulls does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of any opinions expressed or statements made within episodes.